scran and blether, scran and blether. Come on in, scran and blether, scran and blether. Welcome to good food and good chat. Come have a chat.
Hello, so it is Fat Friday, and by Fat Friday what I mean is during the week I like to try and be healthy, and at the weekend I tend to indulge a little bit. So on a Friday I make something that I consider a treat, a sweet, a tray bake, a cake, either to have a little that night or over the weekend. Usually over the weekends I might make a nice dessert on a Friday night that I'm going to have on a Saturday or on a Sunday. Today is going to be a Rocky Road tray bake, and the reason I'm making that is I'm making that for my husband's nephew. He's getting this because he happens to really like Rocky Road, and he's been eating really healthy and training because he's participating in a sporting event this evening. So good luck, Jack, and Jack's getting this. So this is Rocky Road, as I said. So first of all, I'm going to prepare my tin, which is just an 8" by 8". And I'm doing this just to sort of show how I would go about doing it. So I would put the tin on the surface, and I would cut the parchment paper, baking paper, whatever you want to call it, to size of the tin. And then it doesn't have to be perfect, as with everything I do, not perfect. I would just take your square and just cut into the corner, in from the corner in a diagonal, like so, like that. And then I'll just put a little bit of butter and a little bit of oil. You can get ingredients, substances that you can sort of spray that are for sticking things down. I just tend to use a little bit of butter or oil or whatever I've got. Just blob it around, and that will make the paper adhere to the tin, and it won't sugar about when you're trying to put your recipe in. You just press that in, and then the corners will fold in on themselves, and that will should sit perfectly. It's always when you're doing something live, it never turns out as perfect. It's like when I'm cooking a dish that I cook all the time and it always comes out great, and we do it for a new person or someone you're trying to impress, it never seems to be just quite as perfect. So there we go. So it's folded in on itself. As I say, not perfect, but that's it. So the corners are just fold in like that, and that's it ready. So that's it ready to go. Now we have digestive biscuits. I started to break them up, but I just kept them to show you how I break them up. Because it's Rocky Road, you're not breaking them up to a fine crumb like you would if you were making like a cheesecake. I break some of them by hand, keep some in sort of bigger chunks. So this is 200 grams. And I break some into bigger chunks, some into smaller. I just break them up with my hand, like so. And there are some, as I say, bigger bits. I will pound them down in a minute. So like that. So you get some small crumbs, some bigger chunks. I don't want them too big chunks though. And so they're going to get mixed in with the melted chocolate. I also might take my pestle and give some of them a little bash. Let's take this off the surface in case it's making too much noise. Give some of them a bit of a bash. So we'll have some larger bits here as well. Sort of different sizes. Quite satisfying. Right, and we will see that there's a mixture of sizes there. Some bigger pieces, some smaller crumb. That's what you want because it's rocky. It's all rocky. Right, so that seems about right to me. That's your 200 grams. And to that I'm going to add, I've put 100 grams of chopped up cherries, glazed cherries, glacé cherries, glazed cherries. I have 100 grams of chopped nuts. This is walnuts. You could use pecans, you could use any kind of nuts you like. Chopped nuts, these are walnut pieces, so actually don't even need to chop them, you can just sort of break them with your fingers. Again, if you like them smaller, finer, you can chop them really fine. I just tend to sort of break them. Some of them end up come out the packet broken anyway, so we'll just break these up. This is 100 grams of that, 100 grams of that. If you don't like the cherries, you could substitute them for raisins. If you don't like that, you can leave them out. Equally, if you don't like nuts or have a nut allergy, I would maybe just double up on the raisins or cherries. Or you could use, what else could you use? You could use dried apricots, might be nice. Yeah, whatever you like. So say you can leave it out or put it in. The beauty of things like Rocky Road is it's really your personal taste. You can add, substitute. It's about a mix of things getting melted in together with different textures. So these are just about nice enough, I think. You could probably chop them up faster, but I like getting my hands in. I find the hands-on approach very satisfying. I'm catching my reflection in this blooming phone and I'm looking at these big eyebrow slugs I've got here. This is my monthly waxing appointment this morning. I get my eyelashes, my eyebrows waxed and tinted, and they're done really dark on the first day because I'm old and grey now. I need it for the dye to take. So for the first day, I walk about looking like the Widow Twinkie. I'm going to have to cleanse it off before I go out. I look black. Anyway, that's me. And because we're going out to this event tonight, I'm looking a bit rough. No makeup. Widow Twinkie eyebrows. There's no filtering going on here. Right, so those nuts are okay, that'll do. You like bits of chunks, bits of small ones, different textures, makes it interesting. So that's your nuts ready. And we have about 90 to 100 grams of mini marshmallows. You could use bigger marshmallows and chop them up. Whatever you find is the cheapest, I'll just use them. I think this is the right amount. I have that's half a packet, so I'll have the rest there in case it's not. I'll know once I melt the chocolate. If it's double this the last time, I'll tell you at the end. So that's those all ready. And I have 200 grams of dark chocolate and 200 grams of milk chocolate. I mixed the two. Well, actually, I haven't put any milk chocolate in because I wanted to show you something. This is a tin of broken up pieces of chocolate because I got it in a bargain. After Easter, one of the local supermarkets had packets of bunnies and eggs, hollow bunnies and eggs, pure milk chocolate. When you look at the cocoa content in the chocolate, it had a higher cocoa content than some of the name brand bars that I would normally just buy a plain bar of. I think for milk chocolate in the UK it needs to be 20% or more to be considered milk chocolate, and some of the known brands just marginally hit that, and this had more. I can't remember exactly how much. I think it was nearer 30, 20, 25, something like that, so it was better. So I thought, oh, that's really good. I could buy that, smash it all up, put it in a tin and use it for melting for my baking. So that's what I've done. The use by date on it's not until October, so it's perfectly fine. So I thought that's a great deal. It worked out at 19p for 250 grams. So it was a real bargain. So these are the times when you get these deals. to buy things like that and shove it away. So just another 100 has to go in here. And I have mixed half dark and half milk because I happen to know that the recipient is not keen and overly bitter. So I think it's nice to mix the two. You get a sort of semi-sweet, and I've done that before and it's turned out really quite tasty. So that's getting melted. All of that chocolate is getting melted with 125 grams of unsalted butter. You can add a pinch of salt into this recipe if you want. There's a little bit of salt in the nuts. Well, they're not salted nuts, but you know what I mean. They've got a savouriness, and the digestive biscuits. So yeah, you could add a pinch. And 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. So I'm going to put all of this in the pot and melt it. So I'll just put this in the pot. And so the butter goes in together with the golden syrup. If I can get it open, there we go. Sticky business. 2 tablespoons of that. Now, if you wanted this to slide it off easily, you could have just put a little bit of oil on your finger and rubbed the inside of the spoon, and it would just drop off easier. Don't know why I didn't do that. Thought about it too late. So they're just slightly heaped, slightly rounded 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. So the golden syrup set that aside. Stick your finger in there. Goes there. And so golden syrup, butter and chocolate. We'll get that all melted in together. And once that's all melted, we throw all the rest of the ingredients in. I like to throw in some of the marshmallows while it's still quite warm so that they melt through it a little, and then throw a few in a little bit later so that some of them stay bitty and some of them stay melty. Personal preference. So I'm going to get this in the hob and start melting it, and then we'll take it from there. So this is chocolate almost melted. So melt it together nice and smooth. And then once that's melted, just turn off the heat and start chucking all your ingredients in. So in with the nuts, in with the cherries. So I've only put half the tub in. It's about 100 grams, it's a 200 gram tub. I think that's enough when you're doing the nuts and the cherries. We'll see how it goes. See if it, and then the biscuits. And I'm putting half of these marshmallows in to let them melt a little because it'll still be warm. Mix all that in together. Yeah, that looks good. Marshmallow melt a little bit, and then I'll throw the rest in and I'll take it completely off the heat. Smells good. Smells very good. It's a little loose. I think once the rest of the marshmallows go in, it should be fine. You want it to set. You want it to sort of hold. I think once that gets refrigerated, it should be fine. Yes. Right. Marshmallows are melting a little bit. Okay. And then we will transfer it into our tin. I'll just pop the rest of these in. Give it a quick mix. Incorporate those the rest of those marshmallows in. And then we just tip it all out into our tin. So turn it around a little bit. So you can see here. See my mop bucket ready? I'm going to mop the floor. Right, okay. Tip it in. There we go. Big pot in front of the screen. Right. It's quite a lot actually for a tin. I could maybe have used a bigger tin. Right, okay. Right. So just, I think I use a metal spoon to press it in. So we just spread all this into it. Oh, I just have to, Right. Yum yum. Just spread it out. So that is that. Now that might let it cool a little, and then just put it straight into the refrigerator and leave it there until it's set. I don't think we can maybe take this with us, because the thing is, Jack will have been eating super healthy for his training, for his competition, and this will be a really welcome reward. Well, that's the way I think anyway, the feeder in me. So that is that. What you can then do is, once it is completely set, is maybe take a little bit of white chocolate and drizzle that over the top. I happen to know they like that, so I probably will do that. I personally am not a fan of white chocolate. So we go, look at that. The rocky road. And it took very little time. So easy. And it is a lovely little treat. So once that's cool, you just cut that into little squares and it'll go nice with a cuppa. A little treat after dinner. That's it. Easy peasy. I might give it a little drizzle, we'll see. And if I do that, I'll add it on. Recap the ingredients as 200 grams of crushed up biscuits. I used Digestive for this. You can use any. 400 grams of chocolate, melted chocolate, and I halved it between milk and dark. 90 to 100 grams of mini marshmallows, 125 grams of butter. You could use salted or unsalted, or use unsalted and just put a little pinch in. What else am I missing? 100 grams of chopped up nuts and 100 grams of dried fruit. And I happen to use glassy cherries. And that's it. Oh, sorry, 2 tablespoonfuls of golden syrup. And that was it. Very easy. All easy ingredients to get and relatively cheap to buy if you shop around like I did. So make it. I hope you enjoy it. If you make it, let me know. Let me know if you substituted any of the ingredients and what you substituted them for and what that was like. I make another version of this and I use all dark chocolate and crushed up ginger biscuits, and I just find that really delicious. I happen to be a fan of darker chocolate, so that suits me. It's personal taste. But if you make it, pass me a comment, share, subscribe. So I finished the last video too early. It's still Happy Fat Friday. However, I had to leave because we were going to my nephew's sporting event, which I got a row for from my husband, who said, my husband's nephew? I'm a newlywed, recently married, so it is my husband's nephew, and I apologise, it's now my nephew, Jack, who won his sporting event, which I didn't mention earlier because it was a boxing match, and people have different views on the morality of boxing, so I just said a sporting event. He won his first boxing match and he done very, very, very well. And he also won a trophy for something like the best player, the best competitor over the whole evening, Jimmy Hamilton Trophy. It means nothing to me because I'm not really versed in the world of boxing. So anyway, he won his boxing match this evening. We're all very, very proud of him. And so the Rocky Road was for him. He's been on a strict diet because of his athletic endeavours. And we've come home tonight and I have forgotten to finish the Rocky Road. And I said goodbye and I didn't finish it. So a little bit of white chocolate, which I don't think is actually chocolate. However, they like it, so we're adding a little bit of white chocolate. So what I've done is I've just melted this in the microwave in increments of 30 seconds with a little half teaspoon of coconut oil just to make it so that it runs. And all I'm going to do is just drizzle it over the top so it creates a little pattern of a white chocolate drizzle. That is it. That's the whole recipe. And that'll look fabulous. I remember actually buying Rocky Road from a posh coffee vendor in Glasgow Central train station. And it was something like, I don't know, $3.99 for a little tiny slice. It didn't look as good as this, I have to say. It did not look as good as this. So I didn't even use it all. I'm being generous here with the little drizzle. Wait till you see this. Actually, it looks really good. So here we go. Et voila. Yes, I'm going to cut this now. So let me get my chopping board. And we will release it from its tin. There we go. Now, obviously the white chocolate needs a little bit of time to set, but we have no patience. So let me get a knife. Just cut a little slice and let you see. Into squares. The rest will go back in the fridge and the lovely Jack will get it all tomorrow. There we are. Here we go. Look at this. How delicious does that look? Lovely bits of cherry and nuts and marshmallow and a little drizzle of the Kiddo and chocolate. Here we go. And I'm definitely going to have a bite. Look at that. That is delicious, absolutely delicious. So there we have it. Beautiful Rocky Road. And cut that into squares and give that a little cup of tea to your visitors, for yourself, and your packed lunch. Beautiful. Delicious. Happy Fat Friday!
Scran and blether, scran and blether, scran.